Hello and welcome to the broadcast on a day that Nation Media Group marks a milestone, 60 years of nothing but bold and authoritative journalism, and we are not about to stop. NTV Weekend Edition starts right now. Tonight, EACC arrests former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero.
Just wait. No, let me talk.
As DCI arrests two Kiambu County officials and a probe into Waititu's administration starts. Also tonight,
they also plan to supply equipment to health facilities and dispensaries under the Universal Health Coverage.
Council of Governors raises even more questions on county medical supplies scheme by the national government. Plus, Interior CS in the line of fire.
The person to answer to questions of security anywhere in the country regarding Kenyans rests on the desk of Matiang'i by the Kenyan Constitution. Members of Parliament allied to Deputy President William Ruto take Matiang'i to task. And on Bullseye.
Na William Samoei Ruto haitakuwako.
Meambiwa na waganga na wachawi ati mtu fulani atakuwa kwa debe na mtu fulani hatakuwa kwa debe.
The predictions and the fallouts ahead of 2022. The man, the money and the manners.
I want to show the people that I have stamina.
And Museveni's show on why age is just a number.
This is NTV Weekend Edition with Edmond Nyabola.
Welcome to the broadcast. Our sign language interpreter tonight is David Agondoa. To our top story, detectives from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission have arrested former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero alongside his former Chief of Staff and 3 former county accountants. Former officials from the then Nairobi City Council have also been arrested alongside Kidero, including former Nairobi Councillor Mutunga Mutungi. 58 million shillings during Kidero's tenure and in 2014 and 10 million shillings under the council structure was paid out irregularly to a law firm, Wachira Mburu, Mwangi and Company Advocates, allegedly without rendering any services. And as NTV's Mel Miendo reports, former Nairobi Mayor John Ndirangu and current Nyakach Member of Parliament Aduma Owuor are among 10 other suspects being sought by the EACC.
Friday morning, EACC detectives arrested former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero alongside George Wainaina, who served as his Chief of Staff, and 4 others following a corruption investigation involving the alleged irregular payment of 58 million shillings to Wachira Mburu, Mwangi and Company Advocates on 7th January 2014 during his tenure. 10 million shillings was also irregularly paid out in 2011 when Nairobi was under the City Council, with EACC detectives also arresting Mutunga Mutungi, a former Nairobi councillor. The total amount in question stands at 68 million shillings. The 6 were held at the EACC headquarters for close to 7 hours before further action was taken against them.
I want to address the press first. Yeah? We are here, and as Kenyans, we do not subscribe, and more particularly me, I don't subscribe to corruption. I was arrested a few weeks ago. No, just wait. No, let me talk. Let me talk. Don't push me. Yeah? And you cannot fight corruption by malice.
In a statement, Director of Public Prosecutions Nurdin Haji said he had approved the arrest and prosecution of a total of 16 officials. Among those wanted by detectives include current Nyakach Member of Parliament Aduma Joshua Owuor, former Mayor John Ndirangu, former Acting Deputy Director Internal Audit Manasseh Kefa, and a former accountant Hannah Muthoni Kariuki, who is listed as having received 11 million shillings from the loot. Others being sought by EACC detectives include 3 former Nairobi County accountants and John Gari Wainaina, a director of a company by the name Cups Limited. In September last year, Kidero was arrested twice and charged with conspiracy to commit an offence of corruption that led to the loss of 213 million shillings. This will be the 3rd time Kidero is arrested over corruption allegations. Kamata Kamata Friday will see Dr. Evans Kidero and 5 others spend the weekend inside the Kilimani police station cells. Currently, detectives are seeking to find 10 others who are implicated in the 68 million corruption scam. Mel Miendo, NTV, Kilimani.
It's a long weekend for Kidero and his co-accused. To another story about alleged corruption in the counties. 2 Kiambu County officials have today been arraigned after they were found using a vehicle with what is believed to be fake government-issued registration numbers. A vehicle search revealed that money that raised suspicion on mysterious dealings at the county. This morning, EACC officials visited the county, an indication that all is not well in Kiambu. Charity Mwangi with that report.
On the DCI Twitter page, detectives posted information on the arrest of Kiambu County Chief Finance Officer Faith Njeri Harrison, alongside her driver Harrison Kongo. It is alleged that on Wednesday, DCI officers on patrol spotted a vehicle whose registration number read GKB 545C. They trailed the car until it made a stop at the Holiday Inn in Parklands. They ordered the driver to identify himself and to produce his work ticket. He complied, unknowingly raising suspicion for being in possession of a national government vehicle, whereas the occupants were county government officials whose vehicles ought to bear registration numbers that begin with the letters CG and not GK. The DCI officers conducted a search in the vehicle and discovered 50,000 shillings which suspect Njeri claimed to be hers. Also in the vehicle was some $670 equivalent to 67,000 shillings, which bore what resembled a United Nations stamp. The money was discovered inside the pocket covers of the driver's seat. The 2 suspects claimed the money did not belong to them. Today, the 2 county officials were arraigned at the Kibera Law Courts and were released on cash bail. Faith Njeri Harrison is expected to pay a cash bail of 1 million shillings, while her co-accused is expected to pay 40,000 shillings. The 2 are expected to report to the Nairobi Area Police to assist with investigations on Monday, 29th April 2019.
Form your association.
It is unclear whether the 2 were on official duty on behalf of the county government when they were arrested. That notwithstanding, EACC officials had earlier today visited the Kiambu County headquarters and presented notification letters indicating that they were interested in investigating procurement irregularities associated with the county. On the Kiambu County website, the information regarding the Chief Finance Officer, Faith Njeri Harrison, had mysteriously been removed. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Now, the Council of Governors is demanding answers into the controversial 63 billion shilling medical equipment leasing fund that was signed in 2015, saying they have remained in the dark for far too long. And in what could likely stir a storm between the national government and the counties, the governors are up in arms over the 200 million shillings annual payment for the lease, which they say they were arm-twisted into accepting. Zainab Ismail spoke to COG Chairman Wycliffe Oparanya seeking answers on the agreement, which the governors term as shrouded in secrecy.
It all points to the making of a scandal so well guarded that even governors are not aware of what they signed on in the multi-billion shilling medical equipment leasing plan.
We wanted to know even the suppliers of the equipment. We wanted to know the value of the equipment. We wanted to know the original contract between the supplier and the national government. Up to now, this information has never been provided to us.
The Council of Governors says although funds towards the leasing of the contentious medical equipment are directly debited from their budgets, none of the 47 governors know where the money goes.
Individual governors signed a contract to accept the machines. So that's why...
Is this the memorandum you're talking about, or a different contract?
The memorandum.
The only MOU we have is between the county government and the national government. But it's a general MOU. This issue we have even taken it to court so that we are able, as a council of governors, we are able to get this information. This information has not been forthcoming.
The contracted firms include Philips from the Netherlands, Belco SRL from Italy, General Electrics from the USA, Mindre Biomedical of China, and Esteem from India. And even as this particular deal remains shrouded in opaqueness, governors are questioning another plan to provide more medical equipment to the counties using the same script.
We also understand now that in the coming budget, through the budget policy statement, that they also plan to supply equipment to health facilities and dispensaries under the universal health coverage. This also, we have not been involved.
The signing of the leasing of the equipment was marred in controversy from the word go, as governors even snubbed the launch of the medical equipment presided over by President Uhuru Kenyatta.
It should be up to the Senate and the national government, the National Assembly, to dig deep into this particular issue, and the Auditor General. Because these are public funds, and we are not ready just to spend public funds on transactions that we feel they are opaque.
Zainab Ismail, NTV.
Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i was today hard-pressed to explain to the National Assembly leadership the withdrawal of security for members of Parliament. Matiang'i apportioned the blame on his Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho and the former Inspector General of Police Joseph Boynet. MPs insisted he take the blame for the lapse, as they accused him of holding brief for named people out to frustrate Deputy President William Ruto. Kimilili Member of Parliament Didmas Baraza also obtained a court order quashing the withdrawal of his firearm by the Firearm Licensing Board. NTV's political and parliamentary affairs reporter Kennedy Mreithi with those details.
The recent withdrawal of security for some MPs believed to be spearheading Deputy President William Ruto's campaigns in the Mount Kenya region featured extensively at the Second National Assembly Leadership Retreat in Mombasa, as MPs sought to know why their safety was not a priority for the government. Minority Leader John Mbadi kicked up a storm by trying to preempt a conversation affected MPs wanted to pick up with Interior CS Fred Matiang'i, who was scheduled to make a presentation.
Let us not politicize civil service. Let us not call PSS names. We know police service has a structure. Let us not start, and I'm not defending my friend here, Matiang'i.
His sentiments angering a section of the MPs who felt they were being gagged to stop them from voicing their concerns.
Personally, I lost security. I never attacked the CS directly. I attacked the Inspector General of Police. And, I know there are some people who probably are affected personally. Let me move to the next presentation, but I made my point anyway.
Noticing the mood of the members and the emotions that would erupt once CS Matiang'i made his presentation and opened the floor to a question and answer session, the Speaker, Justin Muturi, asked journalists to leave the room and go as far away from the room as possible once his presentation was made. A session that was to take at most 30 minutes lasted over an hour as MPs blamed Matiang'i for the withdrawal of their security. Kikuyu MP Kimani Ichung'wah was most vocal as he accused the CS and officers in his ministry of unfairly targeting the DP and MPs preaching his gospel. According to multiple sources within the meeting, Matiang'i tried to distance himself from the fiasco.
The person to answer to questions of security anywhere in the country regarding Kenyans rests on the desk of Matiang'i by the Kenyan Constitution. So it is not possible to accept any other position, whether it's Kibicho, whether it is the IG, the CS responds and answers to Parliament.
Ishongwa and Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, together with other notable supporters of the DP, had their security withdrawn. Matiang'i promised to look into the matter, but some of the MPs insisted they will not allow a fresh crop of security detail attached to them, as they insisted on the same officers that were withdrawn. Kimilili MP Didmas Baraza was granted his plea to have his gun returned after he took the government to court over withdrawal of his firearms, saying his life was in danger, and accusing the Firearms Licensing Board's Secretary Charles Mukendia of threatening him. Baraza's suit had also named Interior CS Dr. Fred Matiang'i. The question of security or lack of it for members of parliament featured extensively at this leadership forum, as some members of parliament allied to the deputy president accused the Interior Cabinet Secretary and some unnamed forces within government who are out to frustrate those that are allied to the deputy president. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV in Mombasa County.
And to another story concerning the National Assembly. Part of the leadership of that house have accused the Senate of overstepping its mandate and duplicating the roles of the National Assembly. Leader of Majority Edmond Nyabola and his minority counterpart John Mbadi now want Attorney General Paul Kihara to urgently organize a meeting with the stakeholders to clearly define the boundaries of the two houses regarding their roles.
Why on earth, why would you have Senate summoning a national government entity like Pipeline, for example, like Kenya Airports Authority, like Defense? I completely don't understand. And to me, the danger is that we are not only misusing resources, the taxpayers' money, by duplicating our roles, but we risk a situation where committees of both houses or both houses making recommendations that are contradictory to each other.
The only aspect which is devolved is ECD. So the Minister for Education can only appear in the Senate in as far as ECD matters are concerned. That the Minister for Defense has no business in the Senate. That the Minister for Foreign Affairs is not me saying, it's the Constitution. And even the Minister for Internal Security has no business based on the fourth schedule of the Constitution.
It's only the National Assembly which can pass any law on its own. The Senate can never pass, even those ones where they have jurisdiction. Those ones to protect the interests of the counties. They must bring them to the people's representatives.
And now to a story that we are particularly proud about. Nation Media Group has been celebrating its 60th anniversary this evening with pomp and color at the Nation Center. Several activities have been lined up for the anniversary celebration, beginning this evening with some cake cutting as well. A multimedia organization, NMG, is the largest media house in East and Central Africa, obviously. Zainab Ismail has been witnessing the fireworks a few minutes ago, and she's still outside Nation Center. Zainab, what a milestone for the group. Zainab, if you can hear me, we have been marking and celebrating our 60th anniversary this evening with pomp and color, of course, fireworks and cake cutting as well. If you can hear me, what does this mean for Nation Media Group? All right, it is a journey that started in 1960, 60 years ago. Looking at the pictures right now, what a beautiful shot of the Twin Towers. Nation Media Group today celebrating a huge milestone, 6 decades of nothing but bold, authoritative and truthful journalism. And we, like I said earlier, are not going to stop now. We are still on this journey for quite some time. You know, in Kenya, The age of retirement is 60 years, but Nation Media Group clearly feels like sweet, sweet 16 at this moment in time. It's been a beautiful evening here at the Nation Center. Look at those pictures, the Twin Towers looking gorgeous as we mark and celebrate Nation Media Group's 60th anniversary. Wow, it's been quite a journey. Earlier on, we had our CEO, Steve Gitagama. Look at the fireworks. This is what we had earlier today. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shot there at the heart of Nairobi City. Nation Media Group, Nation Center, here celebrating 60 years of what has been an amazing journey, a journey that started in 1960 with just one newspaper and a few reporters and editors. Today is the largest media house in East and Central Africa. And we are not stopping anytime soon. We have covered stories that no one else has, big stories about corruption, about hope and despair, about joy and happiness, about everything else about our society and our country, and we will continue doing so. You can trust us to cover everything you need to know around this country, in the manner that it should be covered. Our mantra, of course, being bold and authoritative journalism here at NTV, at Daily Nation, East African, Business Daily, all the platforms that we have here at Nation Media Group started out with just one paper and now have grown into this massive, massive business. Zainab is now joining us outside Nation Center. Zainab, Ismail, what does this mean for the group?
Edmond, I wish you were outside here. The excitement outside the Nation Center is just invigorating. Quite an excitement here, celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Nation Media Group. Now, 60 years ago, the Nation Media Group was established, and the essence behind that was to tell the African story in an objective, factual, and comprehensive manner, and an array of a fantastic things to be done this evening just to celebrate that particular celebration of this fantastic establishment. Now, there was quite a lot happening here, a spectacular display of fireworks. You're going to see that right playing back on your screens, and a lot of people were wowed by that, specifically Mark and Smriti, who were quite awed by that, and I'm sure a lot of people also were happy to see that. Now, just to pick some of the highlights of some of the speeches that happened here, the Nation Media Group Chief Executive Officer Stephen Gitagama alluded to the disruption experienced in the media by the digital-driven technology, and that say that the Nation Media Group is working towards aligning itself in the new digital space as it maintains the high standards. He said the Nation Media Group is your storyteller, your fact checker, and your explainer, as well as your trusted champion of society. Now, in this regard, he said he was very proud to stand alongside journalists who never shy away or tire from protecting the lives and ensuring the safety while advocating for media freedom. The group's board chairman, Wilfred Kiboro, also spoke and gave a fantastic history of the Nation Media Group from the time it was incepted by His Highness the Aga Khan. And of course, he said the Nation Media Group will vow to ensure the quality will always remain up to standard like it's always been from the very beginning. ICT PS Jerome Ochieng, who represented the ICTCS Joe Musheru, also vowed to protect the rights of journalists. He said he will definitely be at the very front, the Ministry of ICT being at the very front of protecting the rights of journalists and at all times, and asked journalists in turn to uphold and the reputation of the fourth estate, and that is what the Nation Media Group stands for. And of course, from here, we understand that the Nation Media Group has expressed itself and exemplified itself in being a true testimony of resilience and remaining true and timeless. As our theme this evening is a meticulous reportage which will be and which will continue to be propelled to even greater heights. And the Nation Media Group is definitely one of the largest media houses in East and Central Africa, and we are so very proud of that. You know, Edmond, once you're done with the news, you can join us later on down here. We'll continue with the celebration, 60 years of fantastic work from the Nation Media Group.
Thank you so much, Zainab Ismail. Quite a scene down there at the reception at Nation Center. Of course, our management and the rest of the team celebrating 60 years. Happy birthday, Nation Media Group. We are not about to go anywhere. We started from the bottom. Now we're here. Away from that, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has vowed not to back down on the implementation of the new education curriculum and shutting the door on holding talks with the Kenya National Union of Teachers. NAT has boycotted the training, asking their members not to participate in it. But Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula now says Magoha must engage NAT if the reforms in the education sector are to succeed.
I heard very strangely Professor Magoha saying that he has no reverse gear in life. You can never run such a critical stakeholder sector with such a fixed mind and fixed opinions. I expected the professor to come in, consult the teachers' unions. You can't ignore KNUT in any reforms in the education sector.
Why are they stopping people from training? That's where my intelligence and reasoning ends with them. So I think it is not fair to ask me anything else because I don't discuss individuals, I just discuss issues that we can share. We have seen where there are bottlenecks and hiccups, and those bottlenecks and hiccups are going to be addressed. So that training in August will be better. And by the end of August, we shall basically have trained all primary school teachers in the Republic.
Now, a family in Kiwanja Ndege area in Bungoma County is seeking justice after the sudden death of their loved one at a hospital. The deceased, Scholastica Auma, died on Tuesday after giving birth to a baby boy through a cesarean section at Kalaba Hospital. The family is now accusing the hospital of negligence, and this coming, of course, after just a few days of another case in one of the hospitals here in Nairobi and just close by in Kiambu County. Let's have a look at that story.
Deep in thought, distress written all over their faces, clutching at a framed photo of their late sister, the second born in a family of 5, 32-year-old Scholastica Auma, who died while giving birth.
Niendelea kumpepeta, nikasikia sauti ni kama haiendi mzuri, nikaenda nikatafuta nurse, nikapata nurse amesimama kwa private room 5, nikamuuliza msichana anatoa sauti na sijui usukuje uangalie nini. Akaniambia ati kuna majirani walikuwa wamekaa hapo kwa kiti wanamgombanisha, sasa wacha hao majirani wamshughulikie.
When he realized his sister's health was deteriorating, he went out again and beckoned the nurse, informing her of the situation, and that's when she gave them an ear. The nurse went to call 3 more doctors, including the head doctor, when she realized the patient's condition was getting out of hand.
Ila aliingia akasijui walifanya nini, walimpima ndio akaniita kwa room yake. Akaniambia dada yako amefanywa operation na amekuwa na damu kidogo, sasa ni kama amepass.
The news of his sister's passing hit him hard. The other family members later joined him in the quest for answers on his sister's death.
Tukawauliza hati kama hiyo mlikuwa na any blood standby blood, wakasema hawakuwa na standby blood. Tukawauliza si mko na ambulance, mbona amkupeleka sister yetu, mbona amkuprefer kwa hospitali nyingine ili hatibiwe kwa sababu nyinyi amkuwa na any standby blood? Wakatuambia walipigia driver wa ambulance simu, but alikuwa amefunga simu.
The family said the hospital called security on them as they were insistive on finding out the cause of their sister's death. The body of the deceased has been transferred to Life Care Hospital mortuary in Bungoma, awaiting a post-mortem examination. Efforts to reach the hospital's management proved futile. The family wants justice as police continue with their investigations. Helen Aura, NTV.
And on that sad note, let us engage the reverse gear, as Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula said, and take a fast short break on NTV Weekend Edition. We'll be back with more. Don't go anywhere.
NTV Weekend Edition with Edmond Nyabola.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Let's now cover your politics and clan politics. A withdrawal from the race by key opponents and intense campaigning by senior Jubilee Party officials won the seat for Jubilee candidate for Wajir West MP-elect Ahmed Kolosh. NTV's Helen Wanjohi has more details.
Jubilee Party candidate Ahmed Kolosh won the Wajir West parliamentary by-election, defeating Kanu's Sheikh Ibrahim. Many factors boosted Ahmed Kolosh to a win, one of them being that he was the only candidate representing his clan, the Dagodia community. Ibrahim is from the Ajuran clan. A large population of residents in Wajir belong to the Dagodia clan. The hotly contested position that had many eyeing the top seat was reduced to a two-horse race between Kolosh and Mohammed after other candidates withdrew. ODM's candidate Mohammed Yusuf, who is also from the Dagodia clan, had previously been cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IBC) to contest the seat. He withdrew from the race on the 10th of April, about a fortnight to election day, and in favor of Jubilee's Kolosh. In a joint statement, the Wajir leaders, led by Governor Mohammed Abdi, said the candidate's withdrawal from the race was as a result of clan negotiations and not party deals, adding that the decision was brought about by the intervention of the Dagodia clan, sparked by fears that the presence of the two in the race would create divisions in the community. Another key factor is Ahmed Kolosh's shift from ODM to Jubilee after the Supreme Court overturned his election on January 19th. A month after the Supreme Court overturned the Wajir election, Deputy President William Ruto received Kolosh at the Jubilee Party headquarters and announced that he would be their frontrunner in the Wajir West by-election.
Leo ni siku ingine tena ya historia, kwa sababu Waswahili wanasema dalili ya mvua ni mawingu. Nimeanza kuona mawingu sasa kwamba hii Wajir West ambayo miaka nenda miaka rudi imekuwa kiti ya watu wa upinzani, safari hii itakuwa kiti ya serikali.
The win by Kolosh marks yet another interesting political footnote as handshakes effects continue to be felt on the country's politics. Helen Wanjohi, NTV.
Congratulations to Ahmed Kolosh on winning that seat. Now, the Council of Governors is accusing the Office of the Auditor General of releasing alarmist reports regarding the spending of public funds in the counties. Speaking in Nakuru County during a one-day legislative forum between the Council of Governors and the Senate, Legal Committee Speaker Kenneth Lusaka said there needs to be more collaboration between the Senate and the Council of Governors for the purposes of making devolution a success. On their part, the Council of Governors want the senators to stop the incessant summons, which they say creates the impression of the two offices being in competition rather than facilitating the success of devolution.
The Auditor General's office, I think they need to get more staff. They need to devolve audit to the regions and get qualified staff who can be able to go into in-depth audit. What I realize is sometimes the reports they give sound alarmist, and sometimes they don't capture the responses from the county governments. So that by the time the governors the county governments come to the Senate, a lot of the issues may have already been addressed, and this sometimes raises suspicion that maybe this auditor has been compromised or not. So
now, as we celebrate 60 years, let me tell you about a story in one of our biggest papers, in fact, the biggest in East and Central Africa, that's the Daily Nation. Tomorrow, and Kenyan farmers could be paying more for fertilizer than any other country in the world. A scandalous distortion of the market and a stranglehold by cartels that has made our farm produce so expensive that it cannot compete with imports. In a classic tale of corporate capture, the cartels have manipulated rules, created a monopoly, and left poor farmers at the mercy of global fertilizer titans. For the full report, get a copy of your Saturday Nation tomorrow. And that's all in this part of the NTV Weekend Edition. When we come back, Julia Samboko has the business news.
It is a time when we get down to business. Welcome, I am Julian Amboko. Now, Kenya has today entered into agreements of concessional and public-private partnership project financing with China to the tune of 68 billion shillings. The projects to be financed includes the Konza Data Center and Smart Cities project to be undertaken by telecommunications company Huawei at a cost of 17.5 billion shillings and the construction of the JKIA to James Gishuru Expressway on a public-private partnership arrangement by the China Road and Bridge Corporation for 50 billion shillings.
During the official opening of the Second Belt and Road Forum today, President Uhuru Kenyatta hit hard at those criticizing the Kenya-China business relationships, claiming that China is benefiting more from the partnership.
Kenyans, like Chinese, are very entrepreneurial. They don't need to be guided, they don't need to be taught. We understand entrepreneurship. We believe that if you make money, we will make money. So we are not asking you to come in to do any favors. We are asking you to come to invest, to make money, because if you make money, we make money. If you make money, we create jobs. You?
Today, Kenya signed 3 treaties with China on funding of 3 major projects, one including the expansion of the Northern Bypass, the second one the construction of the modern Konza City, and the third one about the construction of the expressway from Wayakiwe to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, which will be an expressway or a highway at the cost of 51 billion shillings.
They have given us assurances it will take only 2 years to complete. And therefore, by September 2021, we shall have express highway so that people coming from Mombasa side, they can go through this express highway without any further delay. In our minds, people have just come to think that the collaboration with China is about SGR and SGR only. Things have changed.
The forum is expected to end tomorrow, with Kenya expecting to sign more business partnership treaties with China in an attempt to get a wider market for Kenyan products and services. Daniel Mule from Beijing, China.
And staying with matters Kenya-China, Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia has hinted that the third phase of the standard gauge railway project could be halted momentarily as the government seeks funds to complete the Mombasa to Malaba line. Macharia has revealed plans to have goods transported using the old meter gauge railway or MGR, which will be refurbished from Naivasha to Malaba into Uganda. The CS is in Beijing, China, accompanying the president, who is making an official visit.
We have about 43 kilometers between Naivasha SGR and Naivasha MGR. The MGR this meter gauge is also an investment which was done many years ago. It is being used to transport goods to Uganda, and therefore we have to make sure that that connectivity in Naivasha, it is quickly addressed. And one of the things we are discussing in this visit is how we can quickly close that gap in Naivasha. And we have already put proposals to make sure that when we finish the SGR in August, commission it in August, we can then move goods from Naivasha SGR to Naivasha MGR. That way then we have a seamless movement of goods all the way from Mombasa to Kampala.
And coming back home, investors at the Nairobi Securities Exchange closed Friday's trade with 3 billion shillings shaved off their paper wealth compared to the close of last week, as prices in the market took a general decline. The week under review saw the mandatory delisting of logistics firms Atlas Development, marking an end to the suspension of the company's shares from trading, which was effected on May 8, 2017. Atlas, which last traded at $1.05, joins Hutchings Bima in the list of companies that have suffered mandatory delisting from the exchange for failing to comply with listing requirements. The week under review saw 16 million shares worth 2.3 billion shillings change hands, with the banking sector commanding 47% of the market's activity. The 20-share index closed the week at 817 points, 2 percentage points lower than it closed the week last week. And let's stay with the stock market, but further afield. Microsoft has attained the $1 trillion mark valuation, becoming the third American firm to do so. The software company reached the milestone on Thursday, following the footsteps of Apple and Amazon. Revenue from the software giant, which was reported on Wednesday, increased by 14% in the fourth quarter to $30.6 billion, performing better than analysts had predicted. In its net profit for the three-month period stood at $8.8 billion, a gain of 19%. And if it's Friday, we talk about matters food and the need to increase agricultural production to ensure food security in line with the United Nations' second Sustainable Development Goal on zero hunger often clashes with the need to address climate change. This is because some investments in food production can have detrimental effects on natural resources. But sustainable agricultural practices such as agroforestry, which combine trees with crops and livestock on the same plot of land, offer the much-needed balance between the income generation and environmental protection. And as Victor Kiprop now reports on this week's Food Friday, the rewards are enough for compensation.
More than 2 decades ago, 71-year-old Simon Ndungu was a devout coffee farmer, cultivating the crop on his 2.5-acre farm in Gatundu South, Kiambu County. But amid poor returns from the bitter brew, Ndungu took a bold step, that of cutting down all his coffee trees and opting for an integrated climate-friendly model.
I was doing the coffee extremely hard. And whenever I got some harvest to the factory, they are well amazed. So when I planted these trees, they said I've gone mad.
Today, Ndungu grows bananas, avocados, tamarillos and macadamia nuts integrated with giant bamboo and eucalyptus trees on the same piece of land. And for that, he is rewarded handsomely.
Kama kwa macadamia naweza chuna kutokea tani 3, tani 2 hadi 3. Na kwa avocado nauza kwa kama mwaka huu nauza kama 195 shillings. Na kwa avocados nachuna kama tani 1. Hivyo na nauza kwa 60 to 70 shillings a kilo.
Since retiring from formal employment in 2005, Ruth Makimei has adopted a similar agricultural model, integrating vegetable, fruits, livestock, bees and trees on her 13-acre piece of land in Lari constituency. Unlike Ndungu, she admits that it has been a decently compensated journey.
When I'm getting finances from the vegetable farms, the trees are growing. When the trees are grown, I'm selling them and the vegetables are growing. So that's why I have combined the two. And then when I have nothing from the trees or from the vegetables, I have something from the fruits. And the next time, I have something from the bees.
Kenya's economy remains highly dependent on the climate-sensitive agriculture sector, the biggest employer and contributor of its gross domestic product at about 25%. However, mean temperatures are expected to rise further than the global average, decreasing crop yields, deepening poverty and putting at risk the future of the country's economy. Globally, over 6 million hectares of natural forests are lost every year, often as an unplanned response to demands for food, fodder, fuel and fiber, meaning investments in agriculture can be detrimental to the environment. Sustainable land management systems, including agroforestry, are recognized by stakeholders under the Food, Forest and Farming Initiative as one of the sustainable models that can help resolve the conflicting food production and environmental protection agendas by fighting global warming and providing decent incomes for farmers.
Whenever we apply a good concept in terms of integration on farms, that translates to high production level from the farms. When we embrace monoculture, versus the upcoming unpredictable weather conditions, then again we put ourselves on high risks of losing on either edge.
Up to 77% of deforestation and land degradation in Africa is caused by agricultural activities. This means that the first step to addressing global warming and combating climate change is by embracing sustainable agricultural practices, including agroforestry. Victor Kiprop, Food Friday, Kiambu County.
And that note of Food Friday winds up the business bulletin for tonight and this week. But up next is the financial report.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Just one more thing left to do before we get into the sports, and coincidentally, it is the best part of the Friday broadcast. Who is in and who is out of the 2022 political contest? Kotu's Francis Atuoli, it appears, has prepared a list, and he swears it's foolproof. Maybe it's just another case of political posturing, but the declaration that the frontrunner may not be even in the race to begin with was the talk of town. It's all about who is calling the shots, and as Emmanuel Juma now reports on Bullseye, that is exactly what the Nairobi governor did when he appeared before the senators.
Parade of the City Fathers led by him, Sonko. And just in case you need a reminder, Sonko means the rich one. And boy, they are oozing riches. From the shoes to all the other accompaniments, they were set for a really big date. Now that is a rich walk, and that is Shilaro, the shoe. Can it survive the potholes of Nairobi? Anyway, the governor had bigger questions to answer before the Senate committee.
I would like you to tell the committee and the citizen of Nairobi County why you still have not appointed the deputy governor and what you intend to do about it.
Yeah, I'll be seeking for permission to be going to the bathroom frequently, because, you know, recently when I landed from London, I had an incident at the airport. So with all the due respect, this is not a laughing matter, and I'm not joking about this. I just seek for permission to go to the bathroom, and I'll be seeking for so many permissions to go to the bathroom, Mr. Chair, because of the problem I had there when I was electrocuted. So let me allow myself to, just for 1 minute, then I come back.
Wow, strategy, or did the rich one need a recharge? And they waited, waited, and waited. Finally, he returned.
So I think there was no need of calling honorable senators from recess to come and deal with this non-issue.
He loves throwing them off balance, this guy.
And I beat you 10-0 on this.
True, he beat them again. Remember the day he told them he uses his own money to beautify Nairobi?
You should not teach me. You should not. The constitution is very clear. You're not here to teach me my work.
Okay. I won't even dare. Would you say it's all about the law?
I understand the law, Mr. Chair.
It's not a competition.
You know.
It's not 10.
From where, sir? Which law school?
Maybe the lawyers who are here went to Harvard. Others went to New York. Me, I went to Committee and Shimbalatewa, the local law of Kenya. So I understand law, Mr. Chair.
And we love, accept, and just move on. And just who will be on the ballot for president come 2022.
Jina la William Samoei Ruto haitakuwako. You can take it to the bank for free.
A big declaration.
Nimeambiwa na waganga na wachawi ati mtu fulani atakuwa kwa debe na mtu fulani hatakuwa kwa debe. Ujue mahali Kenya imefika.
Kwa mwanamume mzima anaitwa Francis Atuoli. Unaenda pale unabingilisha kiuno chako pale kama vile la Nyagapo alivyosema, mtu mfupi mnono round. Hana kazi. Hata unasema Ruto hatakuwa kwa ballot. Kama unajihisi umetosha, wewe ingia kwa debe na William Ruto. Wa Kenya ni sisi ndio watu tunafanya uamuzi.
Wewe Atuoli kichwa yako ni mzuri kweli?
And Aisha still has some unfinished business with her estranged husband.
Nataka nikwambie siri ya wanawake, Sifuna. Mwanamke ukiona ameolewa na mume fulani na hatulii, jua mwanamume ana kasoro.
Kifo cha kisiasa cha Mheshimiwa Aisha Jumwa ndani ya chama cha ODM kilitangazwa na kuidhinishwa rasmi na baraza kuu la chama cha ODM.
Jamani, watu wa ODM, Sifuna, give me a break.
Mimi ni mwanaume mbukusu. Mnajua bukusu? Wakati tunatairi tunasimama mbele ya watu.
Ama masuala mwingine hakuna, no doing. Kwa hivyo silaumu sana Sifuna, lazima uangalie maneno.
How about Matiang'i? Does he fit the bill? The ladies seem to have set out to find out, and it will be written that Matiang'i blushed. Well. Yes, that one fits the bill.
I want to show these people that I have stamina.
And did you see M7? And some think the man ought to retire. This man is going nowhere. Emmanuel Juma, Bullseye, NTV.
You know, there's a video doing rounds on shared media of a boy who was chased out of a birthday party, and he's out there describing what he saw inside. And he says, "Madhuiti, makeki, guy." So my reaction to Museveni's dance, obviously, is, guy! He's not going anywhere. Let's take a break right now for the sports with What of the Queue.
the IAAF doping rules. This comes just 3 weeks since another Kenyan marathoner, Sarah Zoruto, was also provisionally suspended for the same violation. Kiptum shed off 5 seconds from the former half marathon world record last year during the Valencia half marathon. He was lined up to run in Sunday's London marathon, but obviously he will not be able to do so. This comes a week after former 1500 meters world champion Asbel Kiprop was banned for 4 years after being found guilty of using the banned substance EPO. Now, it's 45 days to the Africa Cup of Nations, and you do know that Harambee Stars, after a 15-year break or absence, have made it to AFCON. And what you can see on your screen right now is the kit. And now, FKF say that the new kit, whether it's going to be this one or a different one, is going to be brought in by Macron, the Italian sportswear manufacturers. It's going to be launched tomorrow. It's going to be available from their website. So do keep checking the FKF website for the Harambee Stars kit. And on Top Sport tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be talking all about AFCON with former Kenyan international Anthony Kemani, popularly known as Modo, who currently is the AFC Leopards assistant coach. And we're going to start building up the hype because Harambee Stars is going to Egypt. And let's move to volleyball. The KCB ladies volleyball team were in imperious form as they edged out Kenya Pipeline by 3-1 in a thrilling Kenya Volleyball Federation League clash played at the Kitui High School. KCB grabbed the first set 25-19 as captain Noel Murambi led from the front. Pipeline fought back to win the second set 21-25. The third set ended 33-31 after a spirited fight from both teams on the court. The Bunkers secured the win by running out 25-13 winners in the fourth set. The Bunkers had earlier been stunned by Prisons in their mid-morning league clash. Action continues on Sunday.
KCB is quite young players, and my focus is this year maybe I will go for the title, or toward the end of this year the team will be coming to shape, but in 1 year after this, KCB will be unbeatable.
KCB will be unbeatable.